the Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, primary elections will be here before you know it, and Maine's U.S. Senate race is gaining momentum.
Plus, a Bangor City Councilor was caught on a hot mic this week. We'll bring you that story coming up as well.
And students at Husson University are getting a unique hands-on experience with some new exercise and sports equipment in a science lab.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. That new science lab's really kind of cool.
It is really cool.
Just reading about it.
Yeah.
We'll tell you all about it coming up. But first, to check that forecast. Looking like a cloudy day ahead today and some messy weather coming in behind it.
Definitely.
Winter doesn't want to give up.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. A winter weather advisory is up, and that will last until 10 a.m. as we head towards your Friday. Our next system will be approaching as we do move forward in time. A small craft advisory is also posted as we head towards later on this afternoon at around 2 p.m. Here's as we do move forward. The clouds are tracking off towards the south, and NISA system is farther down toward the south, but more energy will be approaching later on, and this will bring more frozen precipitation to the northern parts of the state. So here's what we got. We'll have some clouds today, and then we're going to be watching for more activity as we head towards early Friday morning. Some frozen precipitation farther off towards the north with a gradual transition to some rain and even some drier hours too. The wind may not be a huge problem. Some gusts up to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour farther down toward the south. Hourly forecast moving forward. Again, some clouds, even a few breaks at times. Temperatures overall in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Thank you, Devin. Well, now to NASA's historic mission to the moon. The Artemis crew is in orbit this morning. Things are going well, but it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Excuse me. Let's have that report.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff.
The Artemis II mission now underway, with astronauts set to travel deeper into space than ever before.
So after a brief 54-year intermission, NASA is back in the business of sending astronauts to the moon.
The Orion spacecraft lifting off, powered by a 322-foot-tall, 6 million-pound rocket. NASA resolved a brief communications issue shortly after liftoff and says the 4-person crew is safe, secure, and in great spirits. They're currently in orbit, 46,000 miles from Earth, where they will stay for about a day, testing Orion's systems. If everything checks out, they'll begin their journey to the moon. The crew will then conduct a lunar flyby before slingshotting back with an eventual ocean splashdown here at home. It's the first time Americans have traveled to the moon since 1972. Crowds gathered near Kennedy Space Center to witness history.
Here we are, going back,
Yeah.
after all these years.
It's just such an experience to be able to see one of those go off and just to feel that power.
Watch parties were held across the country, this one in Pennsylvania.
So we are going to celebrate a new milestone for everybody, not only for USA, for the whole planet, for the whole humanity.
Even astronauts on the International Space Station tuned in.
Godspeed, Artemis II!
Before launch, in a nod to tradition and a bit of superstition, the astronauts played cards until everyone lost a hand, leaving the bad luck behind. And just like the Apollo astronauts some 50 years ago, they walked out through those same famous doors.
Thank you all for being out here. It's a great day for us.
The crew will spend 10 days in space, where doctors say their bodies will face several challenges.
Our bodies undergo a lot of adaptation as soon as we're exposed to microgravity or weightlessness. So our astronauts are almost seasick for the first couple of days of spaceflight. They're nauseous, they don't want to eat.
Artemis II won't land on the moon, but the goal of the mission is to pave the way for future landings and the eventual exploration of Mars. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
In other news this morning, President Trump signed an executive order that he says will strengthen election integrity, but on Wednesday, Maine's Secretary of State says she disagrees with how he plans to do it. That executive order directs Homeland Security and the Social Security Administration to compile a list of confirmed U.S. citizens who will be 18 or older at the time of the next federal election and transmit it to each state. All mail-in absentee ballots would have to have a barcode to facilitate tracking. Federal funds would be withheld from non-compliant states. White House spokesperson Abigail White said, quote, "The president will do everything in his power to defend the safety and security of American elections and to ensure that only American citizens are voting in them." Maine's Secretary of State Shanna Bellows issued a statement also saying in part, quote, "President Trump clearly didn't get the copy of the Constitution I sent him. This executive order is laughably unconstitutional, and Maine is not going to obey in advance because the president isn't in charge of elections, the states are."
Well, meanwhile, state lawmakers have approved a supplemental budget plan for the state of Maine. The Appropriations Committee voted early yesterday to approve a more than $11 billion spending plan. It includes funding for essential services in Maine. It also includes a boost in salaries for teachers and funds needed to implement the new red flag law. It also provides property tax relief and checks of $300 to help thousands of Mainers deal with rising costs. One of the more controversial measures pushed by the majority Democrats would force millionaires to pay more taxes, a plan that would generate $150 million over 2 years. That spending plan will now be presented to the full legislature for consideration.
A closely watched U.S. Senate primary race is approaching in Maine, and the Democratic contest is drawing significant attention. Our Alexa Kennedy tells us more.
With just a couple of months until the primary, Maine's U.S. Senate race is gaining momentum, and voters are at the center of a pivotal election that could carry national implications. According to University of Maine political scientist Mark Brewer, the race is centered on Governor Janet Mills and challenger Graham Plattner. Polls currently show Plattner in the lead, a position he's held consistently, along with a significant fundraising advantage. Brewer says that makes Plattner the clear frontrunner for the Democratic Party, though the race remains far from decided.
I do think that, Plattner versus Mills will give us some insight on where Democrats are in terms of what they see as their preferred future direction of the party.
Brewer says this election highlights a divide within the Democratic Party between experience and calls for change. Meanwhile, national attention is growing.
With such a tight margin, or a slim margin of control that the Republicans currently have, it could very well be that control of the Senate comes down to the race in Maine.
Christina Parker, communications director for the Maine Republican Party, says Republicans are taking a wait-and-see approach. She highlights ongoing attacks between Democrats as candidates clash in a contentious primary.
They're kind of tossing a couple insults and, attacks at each other. And honestly, we will let them fight that out.
She points to concerns about both Governor Janet Mills and Graham Plattner, arguing voters are increasingly dissatisfied and looking for change.
A lot of stuff is coming out about Graham Plattner's past, obviously, and then also we have the governor's voting record, and I think there's a lot of Mainers that are not happy about things that she's done while she was governor.
Parker expressed confidence that Republicans have stronger candidates heading into the general election. She also pointed out that it's past the deadline to find alternative contenders. When reached out for comment, the Maine Democratic Party did not respond. Alexa Kennedy reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, a Bangor City Councilor is attracting criticism for comments he made during an executive session at a public meeting this week. He was caught on a hot mic on Tuesday discussing funding for the Bangor School Department's multilingual learning programs. Our Callie Warren explains why his statements have caused a stir.
Bangor City Councilor Wayne Mallor discussed English being taught as a second language in Bangor public schools, with an individual likely not knowing that conversation was audible near an open microphone during a recording of a public meeting. In that conversation, Mallor stated his disapproval of the school department asking for an increase in funding to hire another multilingual instructor. Here is some of what Mallor had to say Tuesday night.
You can't speak English, read English, or write English. It's not a disability. We do not have to punish. And they're probably all illegals anyway.
English as a second language is something that, according to Bangor Superintendent of Schools Marie Robinson, is federally required to be taught. Robinson released a statement saying in part, quote, "Providing English as a second language services is not optional. It is a legal and moral obligation that supports students' rights and their ability to learn. Our multilingual teachers provide qualified, targeted instruction so that all students can access grade-level curriculum and succeed academically," end quote. Robinson then went on to say that the department serves everyone, regardless of their background or country of origin. Maller's comments have created frustration among some members of the City Council. We spoke with two councillors who both stressed the importance of a disclaimer that they only speak for themselves and their own opinions and do not reflect the overall beliefs of the entire City Council. City Councillor Michael Beck released a statement to us saying, quote, "As a parent with 3 children in Bangor schools, I know that our students, all of them, are the future of this city. The school committee has put in months of work to build a budget that supports every child, and that process deserves to be met with an open mind and mutual respect. I'm disappointed by any rhetoric that relies on harmful stereotypes to dismiss the needs of our neighbors. Our city is at its best when we treat every family with dignity, and I look forward to a budget process that reflects those values," end quote.
We also had the opportunity to speak with Councillor Susan Falloon, who says the behavior isn't what she expects of her fellow councillors.
These statements don't reflect the full City Council. I can only speak for myself, and they absolutely do not reflect my opinion. And I think that those statements were highly inappropriate. We need to be held to a higher standard. We do. That's just all there is to it. Once you take that oath, you've taken that oath. You have responsibilities.
We reached out to all members of the City Council. We did reach out to Maller for comment, but have not heard back at this time. Councillors Falloon and Beck were the only ones to respond to our request for comment, along with Councillor Joe Leonard, who declined to comment. In studio, I'm Callie Warren for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, a state project will connect 2 popular trails in Ellsworth. Right now, the popular paved pedestrian and bicycle trail and the 96-mile-long Downey Sunrise Trail are not connected. Maine DOT Office of Communications Director Andrew Gobiel says a $2.5 million project will change that by creating a continuous route through Ellsworth. He says it will feature a 10-foot paved surface with ADA-compliant crossings and sidewalk ramps for pedestrians. Motorized vehicles will not be permitted. Construction on the project is expected to begin in the summer of 2028.
Good news.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a local Bangor business with deep roots in the community is voicing concern about an upcoming Maine DOT project. We'll have the details ahead.
But first, another check of that forecast. A cloudy day ahead today with high temperatures around 46 degrees. We can expect a mixed bag of freezing weather tonight, lows dropping down to around freezing. Tomorrow, a wintry mix and some rain on the way, highs near 48 degrees. We'll be right back.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Jonathan Bush. He's a battle-tested trailblazer who's created over 900 jobs in Maine.
The jobs that Jonathan brought to Belfast were really transformative for so many families.
Now Bush wants to shake up Augusta. He'll slash wasteful spending and cut property and income taxes. A $1 billion tax cut for hardworking Mainers.
Jonathan is a big thinker with big ideas, but he actually makes them happen.
I'm Jonathan Bush. I look forward to earning your vote.
Half-off deals are waiting for you at foxbangor.com. Click on half-off deals and see how much you can save only at foxbangor.com.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
When you combine a fast-paced word game,
4 of them make $1.
Orders! Hosted by Leah Remini.
What is swing? Did you just say what is? Yes. You just realized you're not on Jeopardy. Okay.
You've got People Puzzler.
Weekdays at 10 on ABC 7.
isn't the only local facility getting a new owner. Bangor's Airport Mall has also been sold. According to the Bangor Daily, the mall has been sold to a company called SBP Bangor Airport Mall, LLC, out of Montreal, Canada. According to the city's tax rolls, it has been sold for $13 million. There's no word this morning on what the new owners will have planned for the mall.
Well, this is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and officials in Maine are reminding people to pay attention when they drive. The Maine Bureau of Highway Safety says between 2021 and 2024, there were 52 fatal crashes that resulted in 55 deaths caused by distracted drivers on Maine roadways. From April 9th through April 13th, multiple law enforcement agencies around the state, in partnership with the Bureau, will be conducting additional patrols looking for drivers who are texting and using their phones while driving. Bureau of Highway Safety Distracted Driving Program Manager Carrie Bernier says, quote, "The driver's focus shouldn't be on their phone, it should be on the road. Nothing on your phone is worth the risk to yourself and to other people on the road."
Meanwhile, the Alltown Market on Park Street in Orono now has more than just gas and snacks. It is now home to an EV fast charging station. Global Partners LP collaborated with Efficiency Maine to try and get fast charging resources to the Orono area. But they were looking for the right location that had both demand and other desirable amenities. The station can deliver a 100-mile range charge in about 10 minutes. They say that they chose the location in Orono because it had the right combination of assets already there, including accommodating customers while they are charging.
Here it's nice and well lit. You have a place you can go into. It's warm, Wi-Fi, grab a coffee, grab a sandwich, and you're on your way. So yeah, for all those reasons, we thought this was a good opportunity for us.
Cater says the year-round tourism was another reason for them to set up shop with the charging station in Maine. He says while this is their first site in the state, they say it is highly likely it will not be the only one for long.
A local business with deep roots in Bangor is voicing concerns about a planned Department of Transportation project, fearing that it could jeopardize their operations. Our Grace Blanchard has more.
For decades, Mainers have been pulling into Sweat's Tire and Auto on Hogan Road for gas, treats, and vehicle services. But an upcoming Maine Department of Transportation construction project has the business fearful for its future.
So we knew a bridge project was coming, but we didn't realize how big of a bridge project it was going to be.
According to the Maine DOT, the Bangor Diverging Diamond Interchange project aims to replace the oldest portion of the Hogan Road overpass and modify the interchange to address safety and congestion.
One of the main concerns for us is that it puts a median through the middle of Hogan Road from the northbound lane to Haskell Road.
General Manager Prentice Sweat tells us this would make entering and exiting the parking lot very challenging for patrons. To mitigate that, he says the DOT proposed creating a rear entrance to the business.
That has been the plan since August of 2024, and then a week ago we found out that they were not going to put the entrance in.
He says if that does not happen, it could jeopardize their operations and a neighboring business.
If we can't make money here, we'd either have to close our doors or try to find another location, but it would be very difficult for us because this is where we've operated for the last 60 years.
Maine DOT had no immediate comment. With the project set to begin this month, Sweat says he is trying to remain optimistic that the agreement to construct a rear entrance will be honored.
Sounding like it's coming back on the table, so we're hopefully optimistic, but until the road's built and everything's done, we will remain optimistic.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Students at Husson University are getting a unique hands-on experience through the university's new state-of-the-art exercise and sports science lab. The lab features top-of-the-line exercise equipment, including an advanced modular altitude chamber that transforms a section of the lab into a fully controlled environment for altitude training, research, and performance enhancement. It was made possible by congressionally directed funding, part of a larger funding package intended to increase the amount of STEM opportunities for students. According to educators and students, the space is more accessible and advanced than their previous equipment, expanding education possibilities and research capabilities.
This is the first semester we're really utilizing the lab, that I hope that they're building the basis for future research projects coming out of the lab, so we start to see the Husson Exercise Science program produce regular research.
I definitely think that this is going to be very helpful for any student coming in. This would be a big pull into the program. You don't see a lot of schools that have altitude chambers or specific like force plates that we do. So I think it'll be helpful for them to learn and grow with the program.
A group of students studying physical therapy and exercise science have been utilizing the space for research this semester, but the university plans to encourage students in related fields to also take advantage of the space and technology in the upcoming semesters.
That's very neat.
It is. The time now is 6:20. After the break, a vote is expected today on whether to approve President Donald Trump's new White House ballroom. We'll have more on that.
Plus, a team of New England researchers are working along Maine's coastline. We'll tell you about their data as Good Morning Maine continues.
The marathon of life can be challenging. Chores and responsibilities keep us from the things we once loved and the aspirations we set. But it's never too late to find your second wind. With an affordable, fully online program and advisors to help you along the way, you can cross the finish line when it works for you. Finish strong at the University of Maine.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
A team of New England researchers is digging into Maine's coastline, unearthing data that could shed new light on a global issue.
Our Alex Schley tells us why scientists say this work will likely have long-term implications right here at home.
Researchers from Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution in Massachusetts say data being collected along Maine's coastline could provide a critical window into global carbon levels. Over the past 2 winters, researchers have been collecting data from New England salt marshes, including sites in Gouldsboro, Wells, and Scarsboro.
We are studying these systems, specifically how water moves through them, how they process carbon, and how much carbon moves from this environment out to the coastal ocean.
To better understand these processes, researchers are tracking and comparing a range of conditions across each site.
We are capturing not only the water level, the salinity, and the temperature in these tidal channels, but we're also looking at that in the marsh platforms.
The data comes from a network of sensors installed at each location.
Within each of these wells, we have a CTD logger, a conductivity temperature depth logger. So these little loggers collect data every 15 minutes.
The team is also continually tracking ground temperature using a multi-depth soil temperature probe.
Below this, the head of the sensor is another PVC tube, and it has temperature sensors at the surface and then 5, 10, 15, 25, and 50 centimeters.
Officials say the goal of this research is to help future researchers better understand carbon in these and similar locations, and in turn aid in work to help protect critical coastal ecosystems. In Gouldsboro, Alex Schley for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Now let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a quality automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Here we go. We have advisories posted. We have a winter weather advisory up until 10 a.m. for your Friday for the areas highlighted in purple for some frozen precipitation that will be moving in. We also have a small craft advisory up until 2 p.m. later on this afternoon. So here's what we got right now at around 3 to 5 feet for the buoys, while further off towards sea at around 5 to 7 feet. So the ocean is rather active at this moment in time. Meanwhile, on land, we just have some clouds developing. So clouds and yes, even a little bit of sunshine could peek out from time to time today with some energy farther down toward the south. This energy will not cause us any problems. We'll have more energy moving in from the west and going toward the east, and that will be giving us some trouble as we do move forward. But meanwhile, Futurecast will show more activity moving in as we head towards the weekend. Here we are actually at Friday morning, a wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow with a transition over to rain as warmer air moves in. That will get out of here as we head towards Saturday. Here we are at Easter Sunday, another possible wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. This will also transition over to rain and then be out of here as we head towards early Monday morning. So as for frozen precipitation with the first round, this will primarily be possibly ice farther off towards the north, not so much farther down toward the south, and any snow will also be farther off towards the north as well. So the northern parts of the state will have trouble, while farther down toward the south it will not be so bad. So for today, we have mid-40s under a mostly cloudy sky, northeast wind at around 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, lows in the low 30s, southeast wind at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, upper 40s, wintry mix changing to rain, and that south wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer, showing a partly cloudy sky on Saturday, highs in the low 50s, upper 40s for Easter Sunday, a wintry mix switching to rain, and then mostly cloudy on Monday, highs in the upper 40s.
Somebody got shot. His mom got shot.
Why would a woman kill an unarmed neighbor?
She wants to have a conversation. Correct. And instead she gets a bullet.
All new 2020, Friday night on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a fifth-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. Have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
Next Jeopardy, he locked in a record-setting game.
The highest we've seen all season.
Now, can a champion secure $400,000?
We're gonna solve this.
Next Jeopardy.
Only on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Overnight, President Trump speaking to the American people for the first time on the war in Iran, touting the success of the operation but offering no new details on the plan to end the war. ABC's Olivia Rubin has the latest.
Overnight, President Trump addressing the nation for the first time, saying the U.S. is on track to end the war soon before warning it could escalate.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
But Trump giving no new details on exactly how he plans to end this war.
They talked about we've taken care of the Army, the Navy, we've taken care of the missile production, and we've taken care of, at least notionally, their ability to hit Israel and the United States. But the nuclear problem has got that quiet check mark, and it was not addressed.
While also acknowledging the soaring oil and gas prices here at home. Iran choking off the critical waterway for the passage of much of the world's oil.
This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict.
Democrats responding, Senator Chuck Schumer saying in a rambling, disjointed speech, an unhinged president failed to justify his disastrous decision to go to war with Iran. And here at home, gas prices have surged beyond $4 per gallon, a political problem for the president in an election year. Meanwhile, polls showing a majority of Americans disapprove of this war. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the U.S.-Israeli war is dealing a heavy blow to Iraq's economy. Iraq believes in oil revenues for roughly, it depends on, for 90% of its budget. And most of its oil is exported from Basra through the Strait of Hormuz, which, of course, has been effectively closed since the start of the war. The war also has led to sharp reductions in the volume of imported goods reaching southern Iraq's ports, while attacks have halted traffic at its border with Iran. Unlike other countries in the Middle East touched by the war, Iraq hosts both entrenched Iran-aligned forces and significant U.S. interests, leaving it exposed to attacks from both sides. Since the war started, oil production in southern Iraq, where Basra is located, has fallen by more than 70%, and the volume of imported goods reaching the country's ports has been cut in half. Drone and missile attacks have also targeted American companies and military bases. Iran's allied Iraqi militias also have struck oil fields and energy infrastructure.
Meanwhile, a key commission is expected to vote on Thursday on whether to approve President Donald Trump's new White House ballroom. This comes after a federal judge ordered a halt to construction unless Congress approves the project. A spokesperson for the National Capital Planning Commission says the agency is moving ahead with Thursday's vote because the judge's ruling affects construction activities, not planning. The ballroom, estimated to cost $400 million, has faced opposition and legal challenges. Trump aims to complete the project before his term ends in 2029. The ballroom will include security upgrades and is funded by donations and public dollars for security enhancements.
Another big national story this morning was President Trump became the first sitting president to ever visit the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday. Supreme Court hearing his arguments on ending birthright citizenship in the U.S. And I think Trump just wanted to add his presence to kind of put the pressure on the justices.
Yeah.
They're expected to make a ruling on that in June.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, more about Artemis II mission and what it means for children who are learning about space.
Don't go away.
Peter Van here. You know, I thought growing up would be the worst, but then I found a way to hack adulthood. It's called AAA. With AAA, it's all about the perks, just like being a kid, except with better snacks and no bedtime. Yes, it pays to be a member.
Mud season, baby, welcome to Maine. Roads get messy, but we don't complain. Winter's fading, spring's in between. It's our extra little season here in Maine. Tires spinning as the back roads flow. Sun shining, but the back roads say whoa. Yeah, it's sloppy, but it's all part of the scene. Living that extra muddy season
Peter Van here. You know, I thought growing up would be the worst, but then I found a way to hack adulthood. It's called AAA. With AAA, it's all about the perks, just like being a kid, except with better snacks and no bedtime. Yes, it pays to be a member.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. Did you have any April Fool's jokes played on you yesterday?
I actually didn't.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
I didn't really see anybody yesterday, so I lucked out as well.
Yeah,
Hopefully
avoided
people
that.
had fun with that, though.
Yeah.
So I saw somebody take a Post-it note and put it on their coworker's back, and it says,
I saw the same thing.
Was it "Tell me I'm pretty" or something like that?
Yes.
Like, I should have done that to Janessa
That's
yesterday,
too funny.
but yeah, April Fool's is fun.
It really is.
Today, though, April 2nd, and this is also National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day.
Peanut butter became affordable in the early 1900s when the peanut industry became commercialized. Many people ate peanut butter sandwiches during the Great Depression because it was cheap, nutritious, and kids could make it themselves. That makes sense.
Yeah.
The first recipe for a PB&J sandwich first appeared in a Boston cookbook in 1901. The combination is now enjoyed by young and old alike.
Even me, every now and then I get
same.
a hankering for a PB&J and a nice cold glass of milk, you know?
What kind of jelly do you like?
I'm going through a raspberry
Oh, okay.
jelly kind of thing right now.
I like
Smuckers.
grape.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like grape too. I grew up with grape, but you know,
They're
a lot
all
of them are
good.
good. I like strawberry, but
Yeah.
a good PB&J sandwich, you know.
Once in a while, it's
Or
good.
If I haven't gone grocery shopping in a while, and I get down to the end there, I'm like, oh, there's nothing to eat.
They
So
come in handy.
You can always eat a PB&J.
Yes.
So, all right, let's get to some history. It was on this day back in 1792, Congress passed the Coinage Act, which authorized the establishment of the U.S. Mint. In 1889, on this date, Charles Hall patented aluminum. Although it is the third most abundant element in Earth's crust, aluminum is never found in its pure form in nature, which is why it wasn't discovered until the 19th century. In 1917, President Woodrow Wilson asked Congress to declare war on Germany, saying the world must be made safe for democracy. He also signed the Selective Service Act, which required men to register for the draft. Congress declared war 4 days later, sending troops to fight during World War I. And in 1956, on this day, the soap opera As the World Turns debuted on television.
In 1987, the speed limit on U.S. interstate highways was increased to 65 miles per hour. And in 1992, mob boss John Gotti was convicted in New York on murder and racketeering charges. His nickname was Teflon Don because he had been acquitted in 3 other trials. This time, he was sentenced to life in prison and died there in 2002. And lastly, in 2024, Taylor Swift became the world's first musician to become a billionaire solely from her songs and concerts.
Good for her,
yeah,
you know.
That's awesome.
I don't listen to a lot of her music, but I'm
Me
a big
either.
Taylor fan just
Yeah,
because the
she
way
does-
she's carried herself. And,
Yeah, she
you know,
does a lot.
It's pretty neat. All right, for birthdays today, they include actor Pedro Pascal, who is 51, singer Emmylou Harris is 79, and actor Christopher Maloney from Law & Order SVU is 65 years old today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. A winter weather advisory is up, and that will last until 10 a.m. as we head towards your Friday. Our next system will be approaching as we do move forward in time. A small craft advisory is also posted as we head towards later on this afternoon at around 2 p.m. Here's as we do move forward. The clouds are tracking off towards the south, and east. The system is farther down toward the south, but more energy will be approaching later on, and this will bring more frozen precipitation to the northern parts of the state. So here's what we got. We'll have some clouds today, and then we're going to be watching for more activity as we head towards early Friday morning. Some frozen precipitation farther off towards the north with a gradual transition to some rain and even some drier hours too. The wind may not be a huge problem. Some gusts up to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour farther down toward the south. Hourly forecast moving forward. Again, some clouds, even a few breaks at times. Temperatures overall in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Don't go away.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
I found the University Studies program, and the people were fantastic, and they helped me understand how I could really pretty easily become part of UMaine, become part of that program, and showed me that within about 2 years, I could have my degree. What I like about being able to study anywhere is probably this. I can literally be outside on the deck. I can be in my house. I can be in another country doing my schoolwork, and it just works really well for for the life that I have.
You sold one of these pigs to a woman whose name is Jessica.
A petite porker changes hands.
You never met him before. He met Jessica. Jessica sold him the pig.
Mr. Poland contacted me and said, I need to know if this pig is stolen. And I said, you have my pig?
It's not your pig.
Then, did she go hog wild?
You brought the police to his house. You threatened to charge him with felonies.
Next, Judge Judy.
Thursday at 5 on ABC7.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
ABC7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Baseball season is right around the corner in the state of Maine, and the Hamden Academy Broncos had their first outdoor practice of the preseason. The Broncos have been working on their game for a couple of weeks now. The team has been going through conditioning practices since the winter, but for the first time this preseason, the Broncos were able to practice outside on Wednesday. The team's leaders say it's something they have been looking forward to ever since they got together this past winter, and now it's finally here.
It's amazing. It's a great feeling being out here with the team. You've thought about this all winter, the sprints, the lifting indoors, hitting in cages. Now you're finally out to be able in the sun, and it's kind of unexplainable how great it is.
I think this is honestly the earliest we've been able to get out here. I mean, we have a beautiful day out here. Day one of actual practices after tryouts. Really feels great. Sun feels good. Everyone feels loose.
Even while having been mostly trapped indoors so far, it hasn't stopped the Broncos from putting in the work they believe is needed to be a competitive team this season.
We still are able to do, just throwing progressions, a little bit of defensive work, but it's just different because it's on gym floor, not actually outside.
Maybe you're not going to be able to work on hitting a ball 200 feet in the air and catching it for your fly balls, but you can still work on footwork, having your glove placement be in the right spot for ground balls. Pitching, it's all fundamentals, throwing from 60 feet and in, and really fine-tuning those sort of smaller mechanics.
We'll have more from the Broncos on Saturday in the weekend shows. Well, if you were anywhere near a TV with ESPN on Tuesday, you saw your fellow Mainer Cooper Flagg's face. He appeared on the Pat McAfee Show Wednesday afternoon. Flagg discussed everything from details about his mindset, his journey so far in his career, and more. He also discussed the biggest adjustments he had to make while transitioning to the NBA.
What's been the biggest adjustment now, being an NBA player?
I mean, there's a lot. I think the first thing that I would think about is just the lifestyle change. It's a big lifestyle change, obviously. I mean, I'm in a new city, living on my own, worrying about paying rent, paying for different things, just figuring that stuff out. Everybody has their own family. Like a lot of the guys have, children, wives. So nobody's hanging out. Like I'm going to practice, going to the games, and I'm going home and kind of just chilling by myself. So a lot of the lifestyle things are a lot different. And then the other thing I would say is just the length of the season. 82 games is a lot. And you can't really prepare for it. So it's just been things that I've had to learn throughout the year of, mentally, physically preparing my body, preparing my mind, just to be ready for 82.
Have you had that kind of welcome to the league moment yet? We all kind of have had it in different ways. Have you had that yet?
I had a couple. I think, very early on in training camp and practice when we were going hard at the start of the year, there was definitely a couple moments. One I've talked about before, like I tried to dunk on one of my teammates, PJ Washington, and it just didn't go very well.
How great is that? If you want a link to the full interview, you can find it on our website. We'll finish on the diamond with the Boston Red Sox as they look to avoid being swept by the Houston Astros on Wednesday afternoon.
And he ended up
pick it up in the first. Wilson Contreras is trying to spark something for the Sox. He shoots a base hit up the middle as Duran comes around to score, and the Sox lead 1-0 to the fifth now. Tied 2-2. Masataka Yoshida gets a good piece of this one, but Smith goes up and gets it for the web gem. What a defensive play in the fifth now. 2 on for the Astros. Crochet is going to hang a slider, and Carlos Correa is sitting on it. A 3-run blast to put Houston up 5-2. The no-doubter has Correa all sorts of fired up. Now it's going to be Houston again making great defensive plays on Yoshida. This time it's Paredes. He backhands it and makes the incredible throw across the diamond to get him at first as the Astros win 6-4. Sox hoping for better luck on Friday at home. Hopefully it goes well for those Sox fans who have tickets to Fenway this weekend. That's all the time we have for sports. We're right back after the break.
Foggy's Pub, your place for fun, food, and friends in Palmyra, Maine.
Davis Brothers Furniture is expanding. At Davis Brothers, we've always strived to stand out from the rest, and we are now proud to offer flooring for your home, featuring both carpeting and luxury vinyl flooring. We even have an installer in-house with over 30 years of experience. Come see the reason people have been traveling from all over the state and beyond to Davis Brothers Furniture in Guilford for decades. Davis Brothers Furniture, deliberately different, delivering statewide.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home, too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
All eyes were on the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida for the launch of the Artemis II rocket. The mission is to carry astronauts to the moon, though they won't actually land there, as we heard earlier. It will fly around the moon like Apollo 8, but this mission will reach out to a location beyond the moon, roughly 8,000 kilometers away from the moon, which is the furthest point humans have ever been in space. Planetarium Director Sean Latch says that's because the moon is sort of our closest neighbor in space and the easiest place to get to. It's a necessary stepping stone for our continued exploration of space.
Currently, there are plans to retire the International Space Station around 2030, and the moon would be a next sort of place that we would probably set up some type of permanent habitation in space that we've had on the International Space Station, but this would be a little bit farther out, would give us a chance to work on a planetary surface, if you will, and really enhance our ability to do science.
Latch says the hope is that the Artemis II mission will set the stage for Artemis III, which is slated to actually land humans on the moon again. It also is a stepping stone to developing the technologies needed to go even further perhaps to Mars someday.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, folks at the Challenger Learning Center were incredibly excited about the Artemis II mission and what it means for young people. The center says that there are all types of missions that they can simulate at the Learning Center to help get kids excited about exploring space, but getting to watch this launch is the stuff dreams are made of. They say people of all ages are invested in this event.
It's a really great opportunity to discuss why we're going back, that this matters for them. And it's just so exciting. We're really talking about, we're building the Artemis generation, just like there was the Apollo generation, of just getting them excited about traveling deeper into space.
The Learning Center showed the launch live. They also opened up their simulators and other learning environments to the public in honor of that event.
What a neat thing for all of us.
It is. Yeah. I love when they do stuff for kids and get the kids to learn too.
Yeah.
Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a quality automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Here we go. We have advisories posted. We have a winter weather advisory up until 10 a.m. for your Friday for the areas highlighted in purple for some frozen precipitation that will be moving in. We also have a small craft advisory up until 2 p.m. later on this afternoon. So here's what we got right now at around 3 to 5 feet for the buoys, while further off towards sea at around 5 to 7 feet. So the ocean is rather active at this moment in time. Meanwhile, on land, we just have some clouds developing. So clouds and yes, even a little bit of sunshine could peek out from time to time today with some energy further down toward the south. This energy will not cause us any problems. We'll have more energy moving in from the west and going toward the east, and that will be giving us some trouble as we do move forward. But meanwhile, Futurecast will show more activity moving in as we head towards the weekend. Here we are actually at Friday morning, a wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow with a transition over to rain as warmer air moves in. That will get out of here as we head towards Saturday. Here we are at Easter Sunday, another possible wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. This will also transition over to rain and then be out of here as we head towards early Monday morning. So as for frozen precipitation with the first round, this will primarily be possibly ice farther off towards the north, not so much farther down toward the south, and any snow will also be farther off towards the north as well. So the northern parts of the state will have trouble, while farther down toward the south it will not be so bad. So for today, we have mid-40s under a mostly cloudy sky, northeast wind at around 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, lows in the low 30s, southeast wind at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, upper 40s, wintry mix changing to rain, and that south wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer, showing a partly cloudy sky on Saturday, highs in the low 50s, upper 40s for Easter Sunday, a wintry mix switching to rain, and then mostly cloudy on Monday, highs in the upper 40s.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Located on Wilson Street in Brewer, Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, where you'll find only the best sushi, Asian favorites, and specialty crafted cocktails that will satisfy anyone. Try tatami seating for an immersive experience. Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, bringing delicious traditions to you.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at eatonpaving.com.
My name is Rebecca Babrod, and I'm studying my master's in social work at the University of Maine.
After high school, I went to college in upstate New York, but then got involved with life and family, so I had a college education but no degree. When I first thought about going back to school, it seemed really intimidating. One of the great things about an online program is that you can combine studying as part of your day. I'm actually studying right now. It's such a great feeling to have made myself important in the process and to continue my education.
911, what's your emergency?
We form a bond stronger than blood. Ours is a family forged in fire. Get out of there now!
You bought the kayak. You placed the kayak on a lake and it sank.
Is it customary to buy a used kayak without first seeing if it's seaworthy?
Hot Bench. Thursday at 3 on ABC 7.
There's a new tourist attraction on the iconic National Mall in Washington, and it's a direct jab at President Donald Trump and the renovations he's doing at the White House. A gold toilet seat sitting on a marble-like backdrop pokes fun at the president's affinity for the color. The plaque on the side reads, quote, "A throne fit for a king." The statue includes a roll of toilet paper as well that reads "The Secret Handshake." So far, no group has claimed responsibility for the statue.
We're getting creative.
I guess so.
All right, well, a Hawaii native seabird is thriving in some of Honolulu's most urban areas. The number of adult breeding white tern birds, known as manaoku, has increased to by more than 50% in the last 10 years. While many other indigenous bird species have suffered in Hawaii due to disease and predators, the white tern birds, which hunt for food at sea and lay eggs on land, are soaring high. Conservation experts believe these birds are drawn to downtown Honolulu because the trees offer a habitable space and can protect against predators as well.
Comfortable around people. They seem to be like a social bird. I think it's awesome that they are increasing. That's such a good sign when so many other things are not going the right way.
Presence of the white tern bird is also often used as a sign for navigators as they get closer to land as well.
How cool is
that?
They're
beautiful. They look like little doves.
Yeah. Well, deputies in Florida respond to a construction site to wrangle an alligator. It happened on Sunday in Avon Park in the central region of the state. Highlands County Deputy Gage Massey was previously an animal service officer. He used a PVC pipe and a rain slicker to subdue the 4-foot gator. The gator was placed in the back of a patrol car and brought to the lake where it was then released.
Just a little fella.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Not too scary.
Yeah, kind of glad we don't have them right here in Maine.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the next hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22.
Thanks for being there, everyone. We hope you have a great day.
It's Vince with Sham How. It's the fastest way.
People.
You get to be a part of really life-changing moments.
It builds a really rewarding professional career.
And that's why I like credit unions.
Your call is important to us.
You've heard this before, too many times. Tired of being customer 45978? Yeah, we would be too. Speed means fast uploads, no lag, and zero buffering. But it also means calling you back, showing up on time, and treating you like a person, not a problem. So whether you're working, streaming, gaming, or all three, it is time to make the switch to a provider that actually tries. Go NetSpeed. Service isn't dead. It just moved local.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage. Doing business the right way every day.
I know that you're sitting right in front of me, but can I say hi to Douglas?
Obviously.
Hey, gorgeous. Hi, Douglas.
Douglas is making this interview super fun.
When I rescued him, he was 8 weeks old.
I'm being licked right now.
Dougie's really the star.
Where does the dog go after the show?
My house.
Weekdays at 11 on Fox 22.
I love baseball cards. Recently, I had a collection that I sold to an online buyer. I went to the credit union to cash the check. I had a good conversation with them, and they told me that this was likely an overpayment scam. They're really great about explaining it so that I have the resources to help myself in the future.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, primary elections will be here before you know it, and Maine's U.S. Senate race is gaining momentum.
We'll have a story coming up, plus a Bangor City Councilor was caught on a hot mic this week, drawing some criticism. We'll have that story for you as well.
And students at Husson University are getting a unique hands-on experience with the new Exercise and Sports Science Lab. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and more coming up, including coverage of last night's launch of the Artemis II rocket.
So fun.
Very exciting. So that's pretty neat. As far as the weather is concerned, it looks like a kind of a quiet morning out there.
Yeah.
Just going to be a cloudy day today and maybe some messy weather moving in tomorrow.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Bigg.